Translators, please go ahead and press record, and then the host will record after you. Chanting prayers, Amanda, can you share?
Yes, it'll be 1 second, Pawn.
No, not today. Most excellent, enlightenment is reached. By the merits of
enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings. Blessed sky, happiness and cause of happiness, and
the cause of suffering.
May they separate from happiness, free from sorrow. May they rest in harmony, free from passion and aversion. Now is this 10.
Lê tôn ra lo chi ni chiêm ban de san je xiang la de wai nu ca nan da xiang de che wer shu yong do la mi co nan la xian nan sang san de xin ye chi cho da se long zhi nan zhi yo xi la mei qiu ge mian zhe zi dang su hua dang qiu qian xiu ba dang ji si ye rong ge sheng su wa yi ge wa jiang se de bei zhi su ba tang jin zu bei xiang qi xian mu
sprinkled with scented water and strewed with flowers. Is adorned with meadows, the supreme mountains, and the four continents,
and the sun and the moon.
As the Buddha field I offer it,
may
may
all
all
sentient
sentient
beings
beings
attain
attain
the happiness of the Buddha field. To the
Lama
Lama who possesses the three kayas, I offer the honor, inner and secret offerings, with my body, wealthy, and all that is visible. Please grant to me the supreme realization and enlightenment. Whatever merit I have gathered through prostrations, offerings, confession, rejoicing, beseeching, and praying, for the sake of the enlightenment of all sentient beings, all decided.
Next page, 10b, the last line. So, please turn the wheel of Dharma of the two vehicles in their combination according to the disposition and the likewise mental capacity of the sentient being.
Okay. Congratulations, Virginia, Joaquin, Lamorjo, Dabogo, Doja, Chapella, and the Jojo, the Shalomaki, Soda, the number of Charan members, and Badam, Gender. That's all some Jatam Jalo, to know what in Jella, Chilam, to know what in Jella, I'm to pass over. Truba is a Chawa change and love to. Hello, everybody. Now, as we said, there's opening prayers. As yesterday I mentioned, these opening prayers are the essence of the teaching that put together, and we chant and contemplate in their meaning. The meaning is that the purpose is to purify our mind, and once you purify our mind, then we can help other sentient beings. Before we purify our own mind, there's no any resource to help others. So this is very important to keep in the mind. So as we ourselves want peace and happiness, every sentient beings, they want peace and happiness. As we ourselves don't want suffering, we want to free from suffering. Everyone else want to free from suffering. So this is the reality nature. See, until we free from the suffering, how we can help others to free from suffering. So this the all this idea, understanding, So first you say, relax your body and the mind. It's very important just to relax the mind and the body. Then our purpose is we are, like everyone else, working, doing something to free from suffering and to achieve peace and happiness. So because of this, first you say, please breathe in, inhale fully, by having the relaxation of the body. And exhale all our negativities. And once more, please inhale all the loving kindness, compassion of the Buddha, and purify our body and mind, and exhale. And once more, please breathe in, inhale all the Buddha's Bodhicitta, and heal our body and mind. And exhale all our delusions, obscurations. On the basis of this, we cultivate the mind to achieve complete enlightenment. And to achieve complete enlightenment is not just for our own self, but for to benefit for the sake of all sentient beings. So when you have this awareness, mindfulness, our mind is in a state. These negative emotions are not there. See, they are nowhere. That is how first we start our practice, you see. So like this way, in our daily life, we study the Dharma teachings and practice. We need to study because without knowing what the cause of suffering, what the cause of peace and happiness, we don't know what to do, what not to do. So first, you see, reflect on this. Once you studied, once you understood the meaning of the Dharma, then we have to put into practice. It's called application, apply in our daily life. So study and practice should go hand in hand without separation. Then we will get the benefit, you see. If we don't practice, no matter how much we study, understand, it won't help so much. You can talk about, you can count about, but no, there's no actual application or there's no actual benefit. So, Dharma Lord Kampupa said, this hearing, study, contemplation, and meditation should go side by side. So it's very important. We don't wait meditations sometime in the future. We just do at the moment when, as soon as you understood. Okay. So these are some general how we should utilize Dharma teachings. Now here, regarding the Gongchik teaching, as yesterday I mentioned brief about how Buddha taught the teachings for 45 years. No. In 45 years in Buddha's life, he taught all the complete teaching. Complete teaching means we have like 84,000 types of mental afflictions. So these 84,000 afflictions, they need to be taken care of, purified. So Buddha taught all the teachings to purify this. So that's called Buddha taught 84,000 types of teachings as a complete to counteract all our confusions. So that's the Buddha taught. First Buddha taught the complete teaching. That's Gongchik, what Buddha taught. The Gongchik, Then after Buddha, there are so many great teachers came. So many. Say like India, you can see Nāgārjuna, Ayadeva, Chandrakirti, Shantideva, so forth, as well as Asanka, Vasubandhu, the logician, Dignak, Dhammakirti, so forth, And then you see the Shantirakita, great scholar, meditator, and Atisha, so forth. And then in Tibet, all those greats, our schools, the lineages came about. Then Milarepa, Gampopa, so forth. Now when you come to the Jigten Sunggun, then all those Buddha's teaching that Buddha taught, Jigten Sunggun, totally comprehended. But not just now say he did it. He was born in a special place. And then after his birth, growing as a child, always full of awareness, mindfulness, and meeting great teachers, studying with those teachers, and he himself also studying, but always in the meditative state. Especially when he was 25 in the 12th century, he met his root master, Pamutuba, who was the great disciple of Dharma Lord Gampopa. So he received all the lineage from Nāgārjuna, from Buddha to Nāgārjuna, from Buddha to Asanga lineage, and from Marpa to Milarepa lineage. All this view, meditation, conduct, lineage. So he's received complete those teachings. And then after receiving all those precious teachings, then he said, I received all those teachings. So now I'm scholar, I'm great masters. He didn't set like that way. Then he went to retreat. First 5 years, then the second 2 years. For 7 years, he went to retreat. And during those times, as like Buddha did in ascetic life, and not just full of luxurious life, but went through great hardship. So because of during those, he purified all the rest of the obscurations. So then when he was 35, then he attained complete enlightenment. That time, then he made a song. Within these few days, I purified all the leftover obscurations, propensities, and I understood the interdependent everything functions within the interdependent. No? The outer interdependent, the inner interdependent, secret interdependent. Both samsara, nirvana. There's nothing which is beyond the interdependent. Everything constitutes within the framework of the interdependent. You realize, no? I reveal the treasure of the secret teaching, Vajrayana teaching. Now I am a state inseparable of the equipoise and post-meditation. There's no separation. Then she achieved the Buddhahood, Dhammakaya. So he made that song. As other day I mentioned, Buddha, when Buddha achieved enlightenment, Buddha said, I now capture the undefiled ambrosia of the profound peace, free from elaboration, luminosity, and uncompounded. So, like that, then when he was 37, then he proceeded to the Dukung area, which is a place from Lhasa to the northeast, about 3 hours drive by car. There he started his giving teachings. And then so many disciples gathered because of his realization of the enlightenment, his skill of the giving teachings. Not just only that, because from his Bodhicitta, the perfection of the relative and the absolute Bodhicitta. Even he can communicate with the vultures, horses, not just only human beings. He could give teachings on that. So because of this, then thousands of the disciples from all the direction gathered here. That people are talking about with the word of mouth. Let's go to see the Lama, the great teacher, who can communicate it with the vultures, horses, who has a skill to give the instructions of meditation to these, even those animals. So that way, hundreds and thousands of disciples gathered. And he benefited not just only human beings, non-human beings, every sentient beings, because he has a skill, such a the language. There's no barrier for him, any language, because Buddha can teach. Like I said, Buddha can teach all the 6 realms of the sentient beings with their own language. So as well, Jigten Sungwe has that kind of. You know the Milarepa. When the deer was chasing by the hunter dog, the deer approached to Milarepa, and Milarepa just gave teaching to the deer. You deer, you with hope and fear, you wander into samsara. You have such a great fear, the hunter dog may catch you anytime. You have such a great hope, expectation to free from the dog with hope and fear. You are suffering. So the deer totally understood what Milarepa said. And soon after that, the dog came. And then he said to the dog, you dog, with a dog, body, wolf face, you're with hope and fear, you are suffering in the samsara. You have such a great fear the deer may lose any time, and you have such a hope, expectation to catch the deer, and you are suffering. So to free from suffering, I will give you meditation. And then the dog was totally rested because he understood what Milarepa was talking. So like these great masters, who when one has that kind of great qualities, can communicate to all those different, So like that, Jigten Sungkun. Then there are some great scholars coming to debate with Jigten Sungkun. And Jigten Sungkun said, welcome, and discuss, and totally satisfy these great scholars, teachers. And there are sometimes there are very stupid people come who knows nothing, but they heard of Jigten Sungkun's name. And then therefore they just went to Jigten Sungkun's. I'm a poor, know nothing, but please help me. I want to study, practice. And Jigten Sungkun says, no, Jigten Sungkun never neglect these individuals. Just gives the teaching according to their ability, their capacity of the mind, and lead them to the path. So some are highly accomplished in their meditation, scholarship. Some are, such as mentioned, stupid individuals, but everyone has a space, chance. So all this, see, this way, then everyone is devoted to, so devoted, no fighting, no confusion, then giving teachings step by step, asking to meditate, practice. You see, then when he was in the 70s, 180,000 disciples gathered at one time. The whole valley was disciples. And during these, like 40 years, he was giving those teachings to these individuals, asking to retreat, go to retreat. And especially at that time, then you see, he sent 55,025 disciples to Mount Kailash with the leader, such a highly accomplished leader, Khenchen Guyakamba. And then, with the same number, Donjin Yarutangpa, with this leader, he sent disciples to Lapche Snow Mountain, where Milarepa enlightened. With the same number, he sent to 30 holy mountains with the Donjin Goche. So like at that time, So then it came the name. Oh, the mountains are occupied by the disciples of Jigten Sungkun. All the valleys were just the pattern of those practitioners. So that how many sentient beings are free from samsara, established with enlightenment, because he taught the teachings, this Gongchik. As mentioned, the first Buddha taught the Gongchik complete. And then in Jigten Sungkun's time, he taught what the Buddha taught, without any missing, totally. So first you see the way teachings is taught, as you know. It's the famous quotation, 딕바 제 매자신 개와 표승 속을 제 라게 셈의 용손도 되는 상계 담바인스 딕바 제 매자신 avoid all or any types of non-virtue or unwholesome deeds. See, all Buddhists know this. Practice, follow all the virtuous deeds and thoughts. And then thoroughly tame your mind. So this is the Buddha's teaching. So if you want to identify what Buddha's teaching is about, so these three you should understand. Avoid all the non-virtuous thoughts or unwholesome thoughts and deeds. And then follow, practice all the wholesome thoughts and deeds. And the point is thoroughly tame your mind. So this is the Buddha's teaching. Whatever practice you do, Vinaya is that one. Sutrayana, that's the one. Abhidharma is that one. No? So this connects to our three portions, as I mentioned. No? Ignorance, attachment, aversion. No? So this includes in the three baskets. And the three basket, the subject of the three basket is yesterday I mentioned the three training, the Shila, the Samadhi, and the special insight, Paranja. No? They are not just one, step by step. No? All these three trainings are appreciated by all the Buddhist, Theravada Buddhist, all appreciated. Mahayana Buddhist, Vajrayana Buddhist. No? But as I mentioned yesterday, the mind is so complex. My mind has so many layers, one after another. Like peeling your onion. When you peel the onion, it's just go on until the end. Then left nothing. See, this mind is not just one simple thing. You understood. That's how Pastor Gyaltsen talked about that. The path, the complete path. Just for the beginner who knows nothing. From there, he taught that individual has some opportunity to study, practice. Then from there, starting to have who knows everything. The mind is like the space. You can have a small space in your mind. Then you have a space of this room. Then you can go outside, you have the space for your garden. Then you can go farther, the space of the state. Then you can go farther, the space of this country. No. Then you go farther, the space of this war, this global war. So if you say global warming war, space, then you go farther and farther, and then endless. See? So your mind is like that. how much the mind is spacious. So you see, when he taught teaching, because he realized complete Buddha's teaching, that's why he achieved the Buddhahood. So he's very strictly, all the teachings he taught, strictly related to the Buddha's teaching, nothing else. So if you have studied Buddhist philosophy, I'm sure there are quite few people, so this is the Nāgārjuna's concept. This is a Chandrakuti concept. This is a Vasubandhu's concept. This is a Shantideva's concept, You go up to that point. You don't go beyond that. But Chaitanya brings the quotation from all those great teachers, but go to the Buddha. See, all those great teachers, whatever they taught according to Buddha's teaching, it connects to Buddha's teaching. Chaitanya brings all the quotations. If they contradicts what the Buddha taught, just leave alone. But stick with the Buddha's teaching. Now what we should understand is most important is, as yesterday I mentioned, I asked the question, why everybody wants peace and happiness, regardless who they are? Why everybody doesn't want suffering? Even they don't believe anything, then they don't like the suffering, physical and mental suffering. Why? What's the reason? Very profound, That is, you see, Buddha nature's call, the basic goodness. That Buddha nature is called Tathagata Garbha. Tathagata Garbha. The essence of the Tathagata. The nature of that is total peace. It's total undefiled, unafflicted, which is pervaded to all the sentient beings. See, therefore, when you say those are inclined to the teachings, then study, practice Dharma teachings to see that. The reason is also one should understand. Everybody has loving kindness, compassion, even maybe very limited, but they have. Like say, insect, just for example, the insect is nothing so stupid, but if that gives birth an offspring, and she takes care of her offspring out of love, out of compassion. Even doesn't know what to do, what not to do, but she takes care. Look at the bird, how they hatch the eggs. It's because of the love and compassion. That is that love out of darkness within we are confused, afflicted emotions. Within that is expression of the Buddha nature. There's a love and compassion. That's where everyone survives from that love and compassion. The bird takes care of the eggs, chicken, even risk of her life. And then she's, the egg hatches and chicken, then the chicken can fly. Not out of hatred. No. So you see, so love and compassion is nothing to the spiritual. Okay, sometimes say, oh, this is very spiritual, has a great love and compassion. No. Everyone has some kind of love and compassion that helps to survive individuals, you see, and brings up, see, with that potential, that's our capital. With that capital, then Buddha taught how to expand the love and compassion. See, because it is the source of the peace and happiness. So that's why when the mother comes, the child can see the mother and no any fear, doubt. Just the child jumps to the mother's leg because she cares the child. So we say, the great Bodhisattvas who have love and compassion, we go there, receive blessings. Why? Because the love and compassion. As mother gives the blessings to her child. So that's why, as mentioned, Buddha's teaching is not just concerning for the Buddhist. Buddha's concern is every sentient beings. Okay? That's why we said prayers. How you start? May all mother sentient beings, you say, you begin prayer with that, isn't it? You don't say all Buddhists, we don't say that. May all Buddhists have peace and happiness. We don't say that. May every sentient beings, mother sentient beings, have peace and happiness. Everything's inclusive. There's no prejudice on that. There's no racism on that. There's no judgment on this. We have to bring everyone into one family. That's how Buddha taught. As that taught, Buddha taught, so now Jigten Sungkun taught that way. So it didn't start. You know the prayer. You saw this prayer. No, all mother sentient beings, including, all mother sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those great obstacles on my path to liberation. No one is excluded. You sit on your cushion, you say this prayer. I'm sure in your life there are some people who don't like you, who hate you, But when you say this prayer, you have to think about it. See, have you seen this kind of prayer? You don't see this. That's exactly what Buddha taught. So everyone is included. That's why the loving first start with the loving kindness. May all sentient beings may have happiness and causes of happiness. Such a precious, it's simple. Sometimes we are just saying these things, it becomes a normal, nothing special. But if you really pay attention, it penetrates your heart. All your just know, the fluster mind, the fluster mind, it just purifies that. It brings the mind, the unflustered mind. It makes your mind cool, fresh. It's not the really benefit of this enemies, obstructors, but actually it's benefit for you, for us. As long as when there's resentment in our heart, malicious thought, there's no peace. We are suffering, for our own benefit. Buddha taught this. That's Jeten Sungwen brings this. You have heard of mind training. Now you go whole one side of mind training. Isn't there 7-point mind training, Just everything is in that here, you see. Look at this, how precious this was. Start with that. So that's why the Buddha nature, which is called effulgence, a very, clarity of the mind. That you are uncompounded nature. Right now we don't see that. It's because of it's called adventitious defilement, obscuration. Adventitious means they are temporary. These are impermanent. At the end, if you look at, they exist nowhere. But we are so much within that adventitious defilement, obscuration, confused we are. Look at the book, Jewel Ornament of Liberation. Right after this paying homage, Kambupa mentioned this whole phenomena are into two categories: the ultimate and the relative. The two truths. The relative truth, the samsara, nature. The nature of the samsara is empty. It's emptiness. But the mental formation of samsara is confusion. Mental confusion, this mental formation. And because of that mental formation of that samsara is confusion, that it characterized as the suffering. So suffering comes from the confusion, And the nature of the nirvana is emptiness. See, nature of the samsara is emptiness. Nature of the nirvana is emptiness. Being as emptiness, no difference. But the nirvana, the mental formation of nirvana is free from all the confusion. The confusion is exhausted and dissipated. So that when the confusion is exhausted, dissipated, now what is the characteristic of that? Free from suffering. See. So Gambupa goes further. What's the basis of the confusion? It's the emptiness, means the emptiness of the mind. The cause of that confusion is the great ignorance. See. Who are those who are confused? The sentient beings, the three realms. Kama dhatu, Rupa dhatu, Arupa dhatu. The three worlds, three realms. The desire world, the form world, the formless world. Sentient beings within these three realms, those are they are the confused. Then, so Gambupa says, what's the example of that confusion? It's like the dream. It's a sleep and a dream. When you get sleep, it's like the ignorance. Then within the sleep, you dream. Without sleep, no dream, So when the ignorance occupies the mind, within that state of the ignorance, within that ignorance, all the confusions are manifested. It's imputed. Everything's imputed, labeled, and then we're attached to these all labels, exaggerated. And then we just suffer. Then how we are confused within in the six realms means depending to the mental afflictions. When there's more aggressive mental afflictions like anger, attachment, that brings the suffering of the hell realm. Hungry spirits, animals, and who are less, there's in the human realm, demigod, God realms, See. It's not from outside somewhere. It's within. This is you can see in your life. As yesterday I mentioned, when your mind is totally entangled in this confusion, the degree of the mental afflictions so powerful, you become like hell realm. Physically, mentally. Even though you have enough food, everything's good, but you feel, if I don't have that, then why should I do all this? You feel like a hungry spirits, become so stingy, And sometimes you feel so stupid. Sometimes you're meditating. First, you are so ambitious. Yeah, I want to meditate. You meditate for some time. Then you sit there, then you say, what I'm doing here? It doesn't make any sense. I'm just wasting my time. You feel so stupid. And human being, yes, we are human being. Sometimes we are so jealous for no reason. So envy, so jealous others. Sometimes you feel so good weather, good lunch. So, life is beautiful, like in the God realm. So you see, it's not something outside there. Within in our own life, we have the experience of these six realms. You see, doesn't matter you're rich or poor. Some rich people have that same experience of the suffering. and poor people, of course, have those. So due to our mental afflictions, mental confusion, as yesterday I mentioned, no? This party we have. When we don't know anything about Dharma. It's me, solid, concrete, I. Nobody can beat this. See, then Dharma teachings there, but I'm suffering. Why? I don't want suffering, Why suffering is coming? Why I deserve this suffering? So, like these things. Then you through the Dharma study, your body is not just one thing. It's first, as mentioned, 5 aggregates, this form, feeling, perception, mental formation, and consciousness. This all they work together. And then your feeling of one concrete is misperception. You are confused. Through the ignorance, you are holding as one, Then you say, I understand. Then feeling, you investigate these things. Then after that, you see, this all are changing. It's impermanent. Every second is changing. It's reality. We're not making this bad, So it's very important. Sometimes you say, Buddhists are so negative, Everything is so bad, 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 It's not, we're not proving everything's bad. But scientifically, see how things constitute. Some other days I mentioned, we say, I'm so clean, I'm so clean. So you should have a mask because the dirt is coming. How we don't realize how dirty we are. All this, what do you call this? Bacteria coming from us, not from outside. We are producing this. Then that's why you have to have a distance. Why, Because we are producing. Then it affects others. That's why we have to take shower. See, why you need to take shower? If you're clean. Lamanyanta said, this socks, he said, it smells so bad, He said, you need to wash my socks, It shows, we are the source of all this, filth. So that's why I say you have to understand that, you have to acknowledge the reality, nature of that. Acknowledge this, and then say, I'm not just one independent, not one solid thing. Then self. I don't have really the self. Self is just imputed. When you see these things, then it helps to relax your mind. Main point is, you see, to relax your mind. Release the grasping, fixated, the fixation, all this. And see, you go through that. Then as yesterday I mentioned, then you see as an illusory nature, how everything's just a manifestation of the cause, conditions. Nothing is independent like this. And from there go further, yourself as yourself, you see. Look at yourself, purify yourself. Need to see yourself. There's no self for myself. There's no independent. It's just label. There's no independent self. See these things. And you look, first when you see these things, you look to all the sentient beings. We are all sharing the same thing, isn't it? Doesn't matter in a country you go. You see, you may have a different belief system, but in reality, we share the same nature. We have the suffering of suffering. We have the suffering of change. We are the condition of suffering. It's shared by everybody, Look at this. That's why the Gongchik teaching is not just only for Buddhists, not just only for monks and nuns. It's for lay people, not just only for the Buddhists, but for every sentient beings. So Buddha's concern is every sentient beings. That's why we need to extend loving kindness, compassion. Now, loving kindness, compassion, as I mentioned, is just it's a manifestation of your Buddha nature. So we have to, which call reveal our own nature. See? So Buddha nature is like you say, like butter in the milk, isn't it? We say butter is in the milk. Do we say that? Is the milk butter? What would you say? You won't say butter is milk, isn't it? But without the milk, there's no butter. When the butter is produced from the milk, say this butter is come from the milk. Is the butter milk? You won't say milk, it's the butter. So you look, just meditate on that carefully. Yes, the milk contains the butter, but milk is not butter. This butter is produced from the milk, but this butter is not milk. So therefore, sometimes you say, I'm Buddha because I have Buddha nature. From that point of view, from the milk and butter point of view, I'm not Buddha, but I have Buddha nature. I can become Buddha. So now to produce the butter from the milk, you have to do all those things. Churning, all those things, Then from that milk, you can produce the butter. Butter is not better butter from the milk. So this you just investigate carefully. Then you can understand why we need to study, practice the Dharma teachings. We all have the Buddha nature. We are potential to become Buddha, but we are not yet the Buddha. Okay? So in In the Bible, in the Christian, the Bible also says the kingdom of the God is within you. Have you seen that? The kingdom of the God is within you. Whether you accept or not accept, it's there, you know. All the practical things are similar. Now, all the imputed things are different. You know, we label, the lot of label things are different. So anyhow, how Jidusumgu taught the Dharma teaching is to say. So this is sometimes in the Buddha, sometimes we say, this is the Chandrakirti's philosophy. This is Nāgārjuna's philosophy. We say that, you know. But in reality, what we have to understand is the reality nature of the whole phenomenon. Yesterday, as I have given an example, the fire is hot. Then depends the degree. There's some fire is hotter, more hot than other fire. To melt the metals, you have to make such a strong fire, you know. See, but basically, fire is hot. It's not somebody say system. It's the reality nature of the fire. Look at our own mind, like aversion, anger. This can happen. Little aversion, you know. Oh, I dislike this, you know. So, anger. Then you develop stronger anger. So I'm really angry, you know. So, you know, then you can make it stronger. Yes, I'm outraged. So, you know, you see. Then I'm very furious. You see, within the anger, how many different degrees of there, as well the desire, attachment, or the mental affliction. Depending to these degree of the mental afflictions, then it creates the cause. Then when it creates the cause, we have to pay the price. All the suffering in the world does not come from without cause, from the wrong cause, from the incomplete cause, from the right cause. If there's no cause, there's no reason to suffer. Because we made mistake, we are paying the price, the suffering. So main thing, the Buddha's teaching, what we study, practice is how to cease to exist the cause of suffering. The suffering, now we cannot do so much, but depending on the practitioner, you know how to handle the causes, how to handle the suffering. No? Different level of the practitioners. Like say, we age anyway. People who don't practice Dharma, they age. Practitioner of the Dharma, they age. Highly accomplished Dharma practitioner, they age. You know, everyone ages, but then depends how you handle that. Okay. Ordinary people who have no inner Dharma experience, understanding, then the aging is such a suffering. Now you cannot see, you cannot hear, it's difficult to walk. difficult to digest. So all this goes through. And then you feel so kind of helpless. People look down on you without reason. Now, Dhamma practitioners, they experience, this is called aging. Step by step, no, I must meditate. There are so many people who are aging and have the same suffering, develop love and compassion. The lighter, you see. And highly accomplished practitioners, it's like illusory nature. There's a suffering, but the suffering is illusory nature. So that's the difference when we need to study, practice Dharma. So why the Dharma practice makes the difference, you see. Then, like Miller Rabbi said, now, nature nakashiki. I'm joyful when I get sick. I'm happy if I die. Nakashiki, no fear at all. We still have fear, isn't it? When you age, especially when you get sick, maybe I'll die tomorrow, maybe I'll die today, Then there's a suffering. That I feel too, So note, it shows that our practice is not accomplished. Maybe I can talk so well, but no experience to practice what I'm talking about. So look, these things just step by step. That's why I mentioned how the mind is powerful, how the mind is profound. All that is counts the mind. So that way, avoiding, as I mentioned, this famous quotation, avoid all the cause of suffering. The basics, 10 non-virtues. You look at the 10 non-virtues, everybody knows the 10 non-virtues. This is nothing to do with the Buddhist. When you come to the causality, cause, you see, when you come to the cause, it's nothing to do with the Buddhist, it's universal. Cause, because we Buddhists or non-Buddhists, everybody is suffering, We share the same. This universal causality. And the cause is very complicated. Such a profound. Milarepa said, Milarepa said, when you come to the cause and result, later cause and result come to there, emptiness is easier to understand. In emptiness, you can investigate, how this exists, not exists, investigate all the dust particles. You get a glimpse of what emptiness is about. But cause, when you come to so profound, only Buddha's wisdom can explain. The omniscient mind can explain about the cause. We can have a glimpse, rough understanding, No? And this, like, there's an account, there's a story. At the time of Buddha, there was an old man family. That's a father who is about 100 years old. So now begin is as 100 years old. He's incapable in the family doing things. And then all the family members are looking down on him. So you are so old, you should be dead. No, what you're doing here, you just keep eating. You cannot produce anything. So then he was so depressed. Then he heard, if you become monk, there's a lot of benefits there. So then he walked slowly to the monastery where the Buddha was. But at that time, Buddha went to some different place. And then so he asked if there's Buddha. So the Buddha is not here. Then he asked, no, after the Buddha, who is the senior masters? And then he heard Shariputra is the very senior, next to Buddha. So he went to Shariputra. Now I'm so depressed. I'm suffering so much terribly. I want to become monk. So can you ordain me, please? And Shariputra looked at him. He's so old, cannot read enough. So Shariputra said, you are out of time. I can't help you, because you're so outdated. You are. So then he was so depressed, and then came back to the temple where Buddha lived, and just said, I can't go back to my home, so I will die here. So he was crying, and then Buddha came. Then Buddha said, what are you doing here? Cry. Then he explained about his life. He wanted to become monk, but Shariputra, I heard, is next to you. He didn't ordain me. He told me I am outdated. So now I will die here, But otherwise, I have no other choice, alternative. So Buddha looked at him. Oh, yeah, you can become monk. So then Moggallana, other great disciple, Buddha asked him to come here. So please ordain this old man. The Moggallana also looked at him. How I can help him? He's so old, Even he can't walk, How he can study and meditate, But Buddha said, so I have to follow what Buddha said. So then Moggallana took him and then ordained him. Then after that, in the monk community, then all the young monks, very young monks, novice monks, and they are then just teasing him. They kicked him, say you are old, Then he was so depressed again, When I was in my house, all my families, they looked down on me. Now I'm here in the monastery, or the novice monks, and they're all just kicking me, this. Now I better die, And he started going to suicide. So Moggallana just immediately jumped in. What you're doing here, And then he expressed, now this is my condition. What should I do? In the family, they all look down. Now in the monastery, all the young monks, they look down on me. Now, what should I do? So then Moggallana understood. He needed a real lesson. So then he took round. There's so many who are suffering. especially this one place, suffering so much. Then he asks, what are these all? Then Mongoliana explained, these are individuals who have done this negative karma in their previous life. Now they are suffering this. And especially then he, in the ocean, Indian Ocean, the giant crocodile died. And the crocodile, the ribs of the crocodile so big that he can walk. It's a small street. He can walk on this. So then he said, can you, master, please tell me about this, this? And then Mongoliana said, this is one of your previous life. You were born as a crocodile, because of that karma. There's more detail, so many, but just to make it brief. Because of that, your karma, you were born as a crocodile. Then from that connection of the Dharma, from such a teacher, you're born as a human being. Now, if you don't practice Dharma, you'll be again reborn like this kind of life. Then that moment he totally just understood. I cannot suicide myself. I must practice Dharma. He just such a strong renunciation is born in his life, because he wants to have some peace, happiness in his life, not really practicing Dharma. So most of us, you see, we practice Dharma just to have some peace. When you get some terrible, mental agony, you want to free from that pain. Not really practicing Dharma, not really renouncing samsara. No, this is a very important point. It's not enough just free from that pain. The pain will come again. If you are free, if you're not free from samsara. So then, again, if I born again just like this crocodile, then it's not good. So he's totally renounced the samsara. And then Mongoliana gave him instruction. And through that strong renunciation, powerful meditative state, at that moment, he saw the nature of the selflessness, nature of the attachment that does not exist. And he achieved the Arhat. So then with the Mongoliana, him together can fly together back to the monastery. And then all the monks saw this old monk who is 100 years old can fly. And everyone is so inspired. Buddha has that great wisdom, skill. Even Shariputra doesn't have that wisdom. So that's what it means. Shariputra didn't know that he has the seed to achieve arhatship in this life. But Buddha knows. So that's you see, the causality is very complex, so profound. So we have to understand how the cause, the karma cause. So the whole world is under the constitution of the causality. This whole the world is constituted within the framework of the causality. We should understand that. So that's why the Buddha said, avoid all cause of suffering. Avoid all the non-virtues, which are the root cause of suffering. So that, having said that, no, Buddha, so we say, so Buddha, please give me answer, my blessing so that my negative karma may go away, like that. No, Buddha said, I cannot take your negative karma out. You have to work. I will teach you instruction, I will teach you how to achieve liberation. I cannot take your suffering out on your, the delusions. I will give you all the instructions, how to do, all these methods, and you are the responsible because you have the Buddha nature. So that's why Buddha said, avoid all the non-virtues and then practice the virtue, wholesome deeds. So for this, regarding to this virtue, non-virtue, it's very difficult to understand. Again, special accident, scientists. So great scientists, so virtue and non-virtue, it doesn't make sense to say. If you kill ants, what's the non-virtue? What it makes non-virtue? So that's what's called precious human life. When you have precious human life, then you are inclined, this makes sense, this virtue, this non-virtue. When you study Buddha's teaching like this, there's all the virtue, non-virtue, that then you can see, you understand. That's why we take refuge in the Buddha. We take refuge in the Dharma. Just say, when you say food offering, what do you say? How you say? Dompa Lame Sanji Rinpoche, you say that? Dompa Lame Sanji Rinpoche means what? Precious Buddha, what then? The supreme teacher, you see. It didn't say supreme protector. So supreme, sublime teacher. Buddha can teach all these things. Then, Kyopa Lame Tamjo Rinpoche, what is that? So Dharma is the protector. Means we have to practice. No, it's a very important point. We take refuge in the Buddha because Buddha taught all those Dharma teachings. And actually, which protects you? Dharma. That you have to study, practice, bring into your heart. Like say, you have to develop loving kindness within us. We can't say, Buddha, please give me loving kindness to me, So then Buddha said, okay, you take it, this is my loving kindness to you, Buddha teaches what is about loving kindness is, what about the compassion is. And Buddha taught us how to practice those. But we are the responsible to protect it. Meditate. See. And it's not religious training. It's not just a belief system. It's reality, everybody. Like say, when you're angry with somebody, this person makes you miserable, how I can get rid of that person, you're so angry, upset. At that moment, you just change the mind. May that person is suffering as well. May that person have all the peace and happiness. First, your ego says, no, don't say that. No, he doesn't deserve that. No, your love and compassion. You see, but you just say, no, this is my ego playing with me. I must, just say you have enough nerve, nerves, you have enough nerve, courage. Say, may that person have all the peace and happiness. And I mean it at that moment. Your heart beating is soft. Relax. Peace. See? The practitioner gets the benefit. See? Sometimes our ego doesn't allow. No, I'm better off. No, I don't need these things. And we're suffering terribly, and we don't realize that. So let your ego go, replaced by this loving kindness, compassion. And then you have all the peace, happiness. It's not being a spiritual affirmation. It's being a practical way how to bring peace, happiness in our life. See? That's the Dharma teaching that Buddha taught. That's how we have to practice it. That will help us really to maintain Dharma in the world. Otherwise, we write so many beautiful books. These books are so beautiful, so profound. I like this book. But if we keep our mind in the ordinary state, no benefit. Then it becomes a culture. Then it becomes a cult member, Okay, then. So if we practice this way, this is how Gyaltsen Sungpa taught. All mother sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me, if we practice this way, the world will be much better, more peaceful. So there's a mind how to make the difference. Then thoroughly tame the mind. So this is the Buddha's teaching. So as I mentioned, another words that means all our mental afflictions subside, put aside, because they don't help us. Temporarily looks like it's helping us, but in reality, it destroys our peace and happiness. Physically, peace and happiness. Mentally, peace and happiness destroys. This one we need courage, wisdom, you see. Sometimes people think it looks very weak, very pessimistic. But in reality, totally opposite. The courageous person can do this practice. Not weak person can do this. Because this will bring fearlessness. So that not just as a Buddhism, but it is a method, making the cause, you see, making the cause for peace and happiness. Driving out all the cause of suffering. So Buddha taught these teachings, whether it's mentioned, whether it's a Vinaya, whether it's a Mahayana, Bodhisattva, whether it's a Vajrayana, doesn't matter. But it's taught that way. All these three, vows, but the mochas vow, the monks and nuns vow, Bodhisattvas vow, Vajrayanas vow, all the vows that the Buddha set up in a way that how to purify all the mental afflictions without any contradiction. No mental afflictions are accepted. Any of those three vows. It's very important. Otherwise, sometimes I'm sure now we have here many different Dharma practitioners. You have met many teachers, you read many books. Sometimes they say in Vinaya, these are not allowed. But Vajrayana, you are allowed these things. Then why not just teach everything Vajrayana? Why need to start with the Vinaya? Buddha taught first step by step to progress, but all the way toward the Buddhahood, every obscurations are subject to purify without any contradiction. They're becoming more skillful, more deeper meaning there comes, because our mind, when you're inclined to meditation, more experience in your meditation, you have a greater experience of these things. The clarity manifests step by step. And then see at the end, then like Buddha who attained complete Buddhahood, purify. This is how Buddha taught that way, and Bodhicitta Sunggun just totally depend on the Buddha's teaching, without any contradiction with the Buddha's teaching. So that's why I say this Jigten Sunggu is called second Buddha. So Buddha manifests in the human form. It's taught that way. So the Gongchik, so that how powerful the Gongchik is about this. Some statement you can read, say, you can explain this said, this, that said, but we have to have some, complete the view. The Buddha's mind. The Gongchik teaching is to capture the Buddha's mind, the enlightened mind. So that, and now here, this commentary by Dharmakirti, it was, so as mentioned, Jigten Sunggu, just briefly about Jigten Sunggu, I mentioned, and then this special text is very short, but by Dharmakirti. He came in Tibet, I think 16th century somewhere, between 16th and 17th century. He was such a great enlightened master. He mentioned here, he has full confidence. He said, there's no any mistake I made. This strictly pure Buddha's mind and Jigten Sunggu's mind. He mentioned that here. And in the name here is called Dambechu Kongbachikpa. Damchu Kongbachikpa. Do you have this book? The invocation said, in Sanskrit, this work is called Satta Dharma Rasa Eka. This one. Satta Dharma Rasa Eka. Do you see that? Page 27. If you have this book, But just at the beginning, in Sanskrit, this work is called Satta Dharma Rasa Eka. First, this is the way we should understand that, Satta Dharma, Dambechu, Dhamma. Dambechu. Dhamma means noble teaching. Dharma is teaching, noble teaching. precious teaching. The Sanskrit sattva is a precious, noble, holy, pure. No, it's called that. So it means it's teachings by Buddha, the noble teaching by Buddha, or the great practitioners, Bodhisattva's practitioner. You know, the relation to this, the Sattva Dharma teaching, goes to the three, as mentioned, three baskets. The subject of the three baskets is the three training: morality, samadhi, praja. That's the Sattva Dharma teaching. It's a method to purify all our mental afflictions. As yesterday I mentioned briefly about Shila, pure discipline, ethics, we should say, manner, ethic, discipline, morality. Then with that, we get such a great opportunity to calm abide the mind, shamatha, relaxing the mind. When the mind is calm, pure, relaxing, then there's a great opportunity for insight, special insight. When this special insight and calm abiding mind, then you see that when you could synchronize the shamatha, the calm abiding meditation, and a special insight, then you can totally capture the purity of the mind. All the mental afflictions has no place. They will not exist anywhere. In the Shantideva's text mentioned, Shine Rabdon Temple, Shine Rabdon Temple, when you have the supreme shamatha, calm abiding, then with that connection, the special insight, special insight, Shine Rabdon Temple, through this synchronizing, working together, Nyumo number jumps, all the mental afflictions are totally subside, purified. See, so that's the Sattva Dharma. Okay, that's the Buddha's mind. When Buddha achieved the last stage of the 10th Bhumi, with this mind and with this method of this total supreme meditative state and the wisdom awareness combined, Buddha achieved the Buddhahood, or Bodhisattva achieved the Buddhahood. And that, say, that Sattva Dharma is mentioned there. Then say rasa eka Gongchik. Now you see, rasa means anyone who speaks Sanskrit here. So not little bit either. Who speaks Sanskrit? Anybody? Rasa. What means rasa? Oh, fruit? Food. You speak Sanskrit? Familiar a little bit. Oh, rasa is yes, it's like a taste. Yeah, enjoyment, taste. So, eka means egg. Egg means, yeah, one, you see, one taste. Yeah, one taste. You see, that's the Konchog, you see. It's Dhammakita is writing, you know. So one taste of the whole phenomena. Dhammakaya is one taste. Okay? It's not just a single intent. Literal meaning in single intent is okay. It's a literal meaning, you know, translation. I'm not proving they're bad, but it looks very narrow, you know. Single intent, there's only one, only thinking, you know. But rasa eka, see, the whole Dhammakaya, Panchana Paramita, you know Panchana Paramita? Whole Pancha Paramita is one taste. So within this one taste, everything can manifest without limitation. Everything manifests from emptiness. And from emptiness, limitless manifest. But there are no separation from the emptiness. Here, emptiness means not just empty, it's wisdom, okay. The wisdom of the Buddha, no limitation. That's the Buddha we have to understand. Gongchik. Now it makes better, isn't it? Better sense, you know. Rasa eka. Eka is one, but also bashik, everything. No? Everything is within one taste. And one taste, 100 taste. You know. That we have to understand this, okay? So all others are just not so important. No? This Satta Dharma Rasa Eka. We have to understand that. Okay. Tampechu Konchog, Tamchu Konchog. Here in Tibetan, you see, it's called Tampechu Konchog. You see, written. Kanti means until it's a difficult to explanation of the difficult points, dispelling the darkness. Here in the translation here, you see, lamp dispelling the darkness. Just what does that mean, you know? So then, Dhammakita goes down, say, to the Lama and to the protector of Manjushri, I bow down, arising from the ocean of his marvelous Bodhicitta, means Buddha, first cultivated Bodhicitta. So Bodhicitta is the single most important, which we'll study tomorrow. No? That's the highway toward the Buddhahood. See? So, Buddha first cultivated Bodhicitta for all the sentient beings to free from samsara. So, marvelous Bodhicitta, shining forth constantly in the sphere of the being's mind. Mind free from all the boundaries. Our teacher, the Buddha, here teacher means Buddha. Our teacher has completed the two benefits. Benefiting himself, achieved the Dhammakaya. Benefiting all sentient beings, Sambhogakaya and Nirmanakaya. sentient beings are benefited by the Sambhogakaya for those great bodhisattvas, and sentient beings are benefited by Nirmanakaya for those ordinary people. So this is Buddha. To this teacher of the definitive meaning, the second jhana was Nāgārjuna, who explains the definitive ultimate meaning. The most exalted Nāgārjuna, treated by the jhana means Buddha, as the uncorrupted teachers of the chariot tradition, which is beyond the extreme, nihilism, eternalism, free from all the extreme, total in the Dhammakaya, endowed with all the supreme aspects. I bow down to Nāgārjuna. Then next is Gyaltsen Sungkun. In this land of snow in Tibet, the philosophical systems went astray. Buddha's teachings are conveyed in the wrong direction. So like as mentioned, Vinaya is for inferior people, for beginner people. We Vajrayanas are allowed to do these things and then communicated in the wrong direction. See, propagating all kinds of correct and incorrect views. There are so many teachings who are communicating direct. Some are making mistake, confusion, people, and become so controversial. But to set them straight again, to bring the right what Buddha taught, without mistake, totally perfect state. See, again, this very one that Nāgārjuna appeared, means Nāgārjuna's reincarnation, reappeared in the form of Gyaltsen Sungkun. Appeared as the Birkum Lord. Birkum means Drikung Lord, Gyaltsen Sungkun. Okay, and his name is called Ranashri. We call his name in Tibetan Rinpoche. To him, I respectfully bow down. So sometimes, because of this, some scholars, when Gyaltsen Sungkun taught all those teaching state how Buddha taught, then some say, no, what you are talking about, you are confusing us, without understanding, So this, you see. Am I explaining enough? Okay. You should get the meaning, Okay. Then, although there are many commentaries on the textual tradition, there are so many different types of commentaries. And also in the Gongchik as well, there are some commentaries made by great teachers, but some are correct, some are a little confused as well, which explains the tradition of that one as the single intent. Now you see single intent, rasa ekha. Okay, you should understand that. Ekha, okay. Of the all jhanas, victorious teacher of the all times and directions. These commentaries are clouded by the obscurity of their authors. You see, some are their own communication. They could not really explain what really Buddha taught, what Gyaltsen Sungkun means. They are a little overclouded, not so clear. So here, Dhammakirti, he made such clear, on opinions. Therefore, I will kindle this light dispelling all the darkness. Kindle, I will kindle this lamp bright as day that removes these obscurations. Then Dharmakirti, with such a great confidence, he is telling now, owls, you know, the bird owls, the owls, do you say do you have the saying the daytime, during the daytime, the owl can see or cannot see? Cannot see daytime? Yeah. We say usually the owl can see at night, not so much daytime. Okay, that's you understand here. The owls and the like hide in seclusion daytime. Daytime, the owls and like owl, daytime they stay in a hide, hiding in the seclusion. When the master of the 7 horse, there are 7 horse means sun, is in Hindu, this they have mythology. The sun is carried by the 7 horses. So because the sun is a god, they treat the sun as the god, So the sun is carried by the 7 horses, god. So that's called the 7 horses. Heaven's horses show his strength. It means the sunshine shows his strength. So wrong thinking people, like all kind of animals, should lower their voice when this line rolls of elegant saying is proclaimed. All the stupid people should stay quiet. Don't try to challenge this one, okay? Stay at your place. So basically, I said, don't make no mistake, okay? Make no mistake. You should understand your own mistake, what you're making. No. Dharmakirti is a strong writer, What? Jina means victorious, victory, victorious. Jina, Jawa, in Tibetan, Jalwa. Yes. Jalwa means victorious, victory, Yeah. Means Buddha. Okay. Yeah. Now time is running, you see. How do you like? It's good? The presentation is okay? Acceptable? We are talking really Gongchik, Really very important. Not just a simple subject. I mention comprehensive, complete. Above all, it's Buddhahood, Dhammakaya. We have to understand that. Some people think Gongchik is some simple one subject. No. Gongchik is everything Buddha's teaching inclusive. Okay. We have to have that understanding. Otherwise, they say, there's a 150 Vajra statement. The first is called the natural state of the innate disposition or abiding of all the phenomena was taught. Then they say, so this is what, And then the second is the 80,000 Dharma divisions are one method for accomplishing Buddhahood. So they explain very just literal meaning, They just literally just say this is, but without understanding the whole picture of the Buddhahood. So you should now, yesterday, today, what I said is, you see, first of all, you understand the vastness of the mind. Okay, how much we have. We don't realize our minds were cocooned in the confined, no, and then we're trapped there, and then we suffer terribly without realizing how spaciousness of the mind, infiniteness of the mind. That's very important. In the world, this kind of teaching is you cannot find. People talk about the mind. Sometimes there's a Chitta mantra, they talk about the mind, and they look down on the Chitta mantra school. Mind only school, you know. But Chitta mantra is mind school. Madhyamika is mind school. Vajrayana is mind school. Who practices Vajrayana? No. The generation stage, the completion stage of the Vajrayana. Who practices this? Mind practices this. Who captures the Mahamudra? Who realizes the Dzogchen? So mind. The mind realizes the Mahamudra. The mind realizes the Dzogchen. You see, without mind, who realizes this? So make this understand that. Who practices the Bodhicitta? Who realizes the emptiness? The mind realizes the emptiness. The mind realizes the Dhammakaya. So don't look down. Mind is just a very inferior. That shows how limited they are. The mind, you have to understand the infinite, okay? Unfathomable, okay? And that when you capture the unfathomable, then you achieve the limitless quality of the mind. That's the Buddhahood. So this is not a Buddhism, okay? It's the reality nature. So Buddha's teaching is not a belief system. It is way, it's explained how everything constitutes, functions within in the reality nature of all the phenomena. So there's a samsaric reality nature, there's a nirvana reality nature, and there's inseparable reality nature. You have to understand that. See. So we have to understand how the confused mind, within the confusion, all the manifestations are created, and how we suffer within that. Doesn't matter Buddhist or non-Buddhist or anybody, believer or non-believer, you know, everyone is included. As long as when we not realize, we are subject of suffering. As long as we realize the nature, we are out of suffering because there's no cause for the suffering. Thank you so much. Have you a little bit enlightened?
Closer.
Excuse me?
Closer.
Closer.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. That's good news. Yeah, that's why I say you have to understand the Dharma. So this is the way how it constitutes. I have no other choice. It's very important, you see. Otherwise, you practice or don't practice is your choice. Of course, it's your choice, but nobody wants suffering. No, nobody wants suffering. Since nobody wants suffering, no choice to work with the cause of suffering. Make sense? Sometimes we say, we lay people, we cannot practice all, we can do some little bit. Then you can say, so we lay people, we deserve all the suffering. It's okay. We don't say that, isn't it? We lay people suffering so much. Why? So the causality works for everybody, from Buddha to the people, insect. No, there's in our US country, we have no one is above the law, isn't it? So no one is above the karma. Even Buddha have to accept the karma. That's why Buddha is very careful. When Buddha achieved enlightenment in Bodhicitta, since then, until he passed away, he always kept his life pure. Otherwise, you say, I'm Buddha, now I can do anything what I like. I can do this, I can enjoy it because I'm Buddha. Buddha didn't do that, you see. As well, Milarepa, even Milarepa, just wearing a white robe, very simple. At the end of this life, so he gathered so many disciples. So there was a rumor. So Milarepa has a lot of gold, People offered, disciples offered the gold to Milarepa. Milarepa has a lot of gold, they said. So Milarepa heard of that. Then he made a note. Said, after I die, he said, my golds are under my stove, under the ash, the fire made with the wood. That time is fire, so wood, from wood burn, So there's a lot of ashes. So under the ashes, the gold is under there. So all the disciples should share the gold. So then, after Milarepa died, they digged the stove, and then Milarepa wrote a piece of letter, writing, he said, if anybody says Milarepa is gold, you just eat the shit. So everybody laughed, where the mourning, mourning Milarepa's pre-nirvana, So Milarepa's whole his life after enlightened. Otherwise, I'm enlightened. Now I can build a palace, All your disciples bring all the offerings. I need a special place to live. You could say that, but he spent his whole life in a cave until death. Pure, that's called pure conduct, pure life. Like what Shikti was telling, he gathered, there's 80,000 disciples gathered. How much he can receive the offerings? All the offerings given to the monk. He lived such a simple life. He didn't build so many monasteries. He could build, but he sent all his monks to the mountain and eat what I have. You enjoy what I have. And then if they're not, you should walk. All his offerings to the monk. There's no discrimination, rich or poor, good or bad. He shared everyone same. And he appointed special monk to take care of all those offerings. So you look at these great masters, how they practiced, how they maintain the Dharma teachings. No, we should follow, develop wisdom, devotion to these great masters. No, you don't hear these things so much. People, our masters, nobody talks about Jigten Sungkwan, you know. Oh, Jigten Sungkwan, great, wonderful, wonderful, that much. Okay. So now time is running in permanence. Okay. Now please relax your body, mind, relax. And just make a glimpse of Lord Jigten Sungkwan, how he taught the Dharma teachings as Buddha taught. And just meditate. We are so fortunate to have a glimpse of those teachings. No? There are some great masters now we have. They can give you more detail, more profound. I'm just advertising, you know. Okay. I'm just advertising. Now relax the mind, body. And then breathe in all the blessings, the Buddha into us. And release all our stress, physically, mentally. And then in the mind, just meditate. May everybody, all sentient beings, have all the peace and happiness. Just reflect on this. And then may everybody free from the suffering. And may all swiftly attain the Buddhahood. Just reflect on this. And this is nothing to do with spiritual things. This is reality. We are creating a cause. We are creating a cause for our own peace and happiness. But we need the support of the sentient beings. We need the support of the Buddha. So Buddha and sentient beings both are very critical, important for our Dharma practice. And relax, meditate, like a nature of the space. And meditate everything is just a reflection. The reflection of the mind. The reflection of our karma. Then with this, we should say the dedication prayers. Okay.
Dedication prayer by the Lord Jigten Sungkwan.
Excuse me?
Dedication prayer by the Lord Jigten Sungkwan.
Okay.
Glorious, holy, venerable, precious, kind, true, lineage lamas, divine assemblies of Yidam and assemblies of Buddhas, Bodhisattva, yoginis, naginis, dwelling in the 10 directions,
please hear my prayer.
by the virtues collected in the 3 times by myself and all sentient beings in the samsara and nirvana, and innate root of virtue,
not result in the 8 worldly concerns, 4 causes of samsara, or rebirth in the Sataka of Patyaga Buddha.
may all
Mother
mother
sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me in mind,
obstacles who harm me, misleading Maras, and the hordes of demons, experience happiness, be separated from suffering, and swiftly attain unsurpassed, perfect, and complete and precious Buddhahood. By the power of this vast root of virtue, may I benefit all things through my body, spirit, and mind. May the affliction of desire, hatred, ignorance, arrogance, and jealousy not arise in my mind. May attachment to fame, reputation, wealth, honor, and concerns with this life not arise for even a moment. May I mind stream
by loving kindness, compassion, Bodhicitta. And through that, may I become a
spiritual master with the good qualities equal to infinite of space. May I gain the supreme attainment of Mahamudra in this very life. May the torment of suffering not arise even at the time of my death. May I not die with a negative thoughts. May I not die confused by wrong view. May I not die experiencing untimely death. May I die joyfully and happily in the great luminosity of mind as such and the pervading clarity of Dharma. May I, in any case, gain the supreme attainment of Mahamudra at the time of death or in the particle.
Thank you, Khenchen Rinpoche. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Rinpoche. Thank you, Lama Nyangda, for leading the prayers. And thank you to all the translators, Susu, Brandon, Fabian, and Bova, and Lama Sonam, and other Lamas, Ani, and all everyone who attended today. Thank you so much for the wonderful teaching again. And please come on again tomorrow. Eastern time will be 10 a.m. to 12 noon. And then we will have 2-hour breaks. And then we will resume again at 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Daylight Saving.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good day.
谢谢啊，嗨，拉拉，
谢谢了。
Thank you, Rinpoche.
一个是你的价格各方面的话，然后报的话，我们又不会的，这事情都经过你的。
See the light, everyone.
Yes,那你尽快的，到时候发短信给我，或者是加我微信啊。
Thank you, dear Khenchen. Thank you, dear Khenchen.
对，这个手机号码，对，啊。
I can't go until he goes. Yeah.
做的话，定下来就马上开始做了。对呀，现在都10月了，做完了你马上。
拜拜，拉玛拉 ，Thank you，
25天能做完吗？
拜 ，See you later。
行，先这样啊。那你再报过来先啊。你们的人都是白色的灯是吧？
湖南那个哈。
我透过禅修变成了内心。好，这样啊。
有底的，handsome one。Yes。
Good night.